Good evening, everybody. It is Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro, here for a very special report with all of the action today on March the 12th, 2020 with the market crash. Let's just jump straight into it and take a look at what is going on, starting out with Big Brother Bitcoin in at $5,242.30 at the moment. But look at what has been going on today. What ridiculous action where we saw a plummet from $7,600 down to a low point of $3,858. Nice little rebound here with a few dips, currently staying above 5,000, but who knows? It looks like the overall momentum is still in the downward direction. So let's go back and take a look at the rest of the top 5 cryptos. Ethereum sitting at $126.95, low point today of $90. Who would have ever thought that we would see such a dip with Ethereum since the all-time low after the great run-up in 2017, where Ethereum was below $100 the last time, which it was at $89.99. Well, here's our chance again where we can get back in at some ridiculous levels as Ethereum is hovering around the $127 area. Heading on back down the chart, let's take a look at Litecoin and see what type of a dip that we had today. It was tremendous. We dropped all the way down to $25. What a fire sale. Again, we haven't seen these lows since the big capitulation after the 2017 run-up and the big crash of 2018. Not bad. Current price $32.89, moving right along. Let's cover a few of the others. Bitcoin Cash, of course, we don't care about Bitcoin Cash. XRP is the next one that we actually like to know about. I hold a small bag of XRP, so we see that it bottomed out today at 11 cents. Now, I did make a prediction months ago that 11 cents was possible, even though I said that it was unlikely, but I gave it a 20 or 30% chance of diving down to 11 cents. And it's not over, folks. We have a nice little rebound back up to 16.99, currently at 15 cents. But with the downward momentum, we could see the possibility of 8 cents, at which point let's just pray that it holds. If we break below that, all bets are off. We don't know what's going to happen. All right, Bitcoin Cash, again, we don't care about. Stellar Lumen sitting at 3 cents. My oh my, let's see what the action looked like on Stellar Lumens here today and what type of fire sale price occurred at the dip. Wow, 0.0261. Just over 2.5 cents during the dip. A quick rebound back up to 4.92 cents, almost a nickel, currently sitting at 0.0373. All right. Well, let's go back to Bitcoin and talk about the big picture and discuss a few of the things that we need to realize at this point. Okay, let's turn the music down just a little bit. That's enough of a fun news broadcast introduction. So we really don't need that anymore. We'll just turn that down a little bit and talk about the action of Bitcoin and the attitude towards Bitcoin after we see this tremendous dip. Up until now, let's go to the all-time chart. Up until now, we have viewed Bitcoin as a store of value and as a safe haven against the action that is taking place on the stock market. Well, I'm going to tell you what, folks, I don't think we can say that anymore. Bitcoin has just officially lost its status as a store of value, as a hedge against inflation, or a safe haven during tumultuous market times. No longer is that the case because the stock market pulled Bitcoin right down along with it, unlike gold. Gold is the only safe haven right now and the only thing that was immune to the flash crash that occurred today on March the 12th. Okay, so let's look at a trading view chart, which will make it a little bit easier to see this. And I'm going to make a point here. And we're going to look at a few charts, as a matter of fact. But let's pull up Bitcoin first. And we'll get out our drawing tool. And we will draw on this chart so we can get a good idea of where we are headed and where we have been. Now, when we look at this chart, and let's just kind of scrunch it down here. Number one, at the current level that we sit, $5,237, we are just about, well, we have already broken the previous support that we had built in April of 2019, a year ago, just about a year ago. And that's why it is just so important that it holds these levels of former support that become resistance once the market flips. But as soon as we break those levels, we don't know what could happen. We don't know how low it could go. If we violate this again, we've already broken it, but we didn't close at a level less than, say, 4,900, 4,855, I believe. If we close a candle, maybe even a 4-hour, but definitely a 1 day below that point, then we're going to sail downward, probably a lot farther than where we are right now. But this is the point I want to make. Let's look at the big picture. Here is the run up. And let's just discuss some things that I've been talking about over the last year, maybe a year and a half. We're going to draw here. Now, as we watched all of this action take place, you know, we had the big capitulation here. That is not the right drawing tool. Let's see. We want to use let's clear this chart and let's go to our drawing tool. There we go. So we had this big movement, the big capitulation down. And then we hit this point where a lot of people thought that the market was going to explode up. And of course, we got the big surprise. It did not explode up. It went kaboom. And we had the major dive. And so then it regained its composure and we started to consolidate. And then we had the big run up to 13,000, whatever it was, right below 14,000. And then the downward channel started from there, where I was calling this a downward channel, and most people were calling this a bull market. This is what I saw, okay? But what most people saw was the fact that we had this big boom here, and this was supposed to be a jumping off point to magnificent levels. But this was a pennant formation, and it bombed. So after that happened, when we recovered here, everyone said, well, this is the point where we hit the moon. It failed. It did not happen. And of course, after this run up, everyone said this is where we hit the moon. Boom. Of course, we realize it failed. And each time that we have made a small recovery, we've had every prognosticator, every big mouth out there say that this is the point where Bitcoin hits that next move, where I have been maintaining the fact that we have not completed this bearish trend. It's not over. Look at the overall. Here's the overall direction, the overall action. When you average this out, it's still moving down. Okay, so let's just make a channel from this peak and draw a line straight over the top of these two peaks. We can see it right here. Oh man, now you could draw a line this way and say that we might have a long time before we go until we hit a point that we are close to the apex of this triangle. Or you could also say that this is a parallel trading channel right here that could possibly, quite possibly, bring us back down to the same base level that we had before. Let's change the color of that and make it dark blue. Here we go. So I have been saying since this peak here that I believe that we are continuing, because in order to say that we're in a new bull market, we would have had to completely eclipse the former all-time high nearing 20,000. So all of the action that has occurred within this circle is a microcosm of what we've already seen. This is old news. It's nothing new. So I have been kind of the mindset that until I see a break from this area or outside of this parallel trading channel, there's nothing to talk to. And in addition to that, what I've been talking about before, the fact that we're bouncing up to the top, to the middle, and then heading to the middle, back to the top. I said it a couple of weeks ago that we could bounce to the bottom of this trading channel. Now, I am not, what's the guy's name that predicted stuff and half of everything he said really didn't come true. I can't predict the future, but I did say that we had a possibility of returning back down to the bottom of this channel, and we did. So anything is possible after this crash. I mean, we could jump all the way up back to the top of this channel again, and everybody's going to say, here we are going to the moon. And if we do, what could happen is going right back down to the bottom of the channel again. I don't know. We don't know, but it is a possibility. But one thing I do know is that I have never seen a bull market jump out of an incomplete market cycle. In other words, it doesn't just jump off out of here. Let's make a nice arrow for that. It just doesn't happen like this. Now, if we zoom out even further, let's turn the drawing mode off. Let's see here. And let's zoom out even further and see if we can scrunch this down a bit. This last slope of this line, of this market, let's look in the last run up. What do we see here? This is a nice little demonstration of how we approach a bull market. And when we zoom into the action before this happens, we had the long phase here of accumulation before we started to get a little action. And then out of the abyss, we jump into this massive bull market that led up to the all-time high of 2017. Look at how the market took its time to develop, and look at the shape of this quiet accumulation, a little bit of consolidation, and then the run up. Whoops. Okay, so let's turn drawing mode off and let's zoom back out and look at what we see here now. So what a lot of our big mouth experts on YouTube claim, that we can just do this, that this is just going to jump out of nowhere, when what I tend to believe is that this development has to continue. We might see this for quite some time until it calms down, until we hit a quiet accumulation period. And once this market has had the time to reset, we could see a consolidation move, and then the next massive run up that will eclipse all of the previous action. Okay, so let's make this to scale. And I talked about this in my previous video, that when the big movement happens, it will eclipse anything we have ever seen to this point. So now that we can see this with everything shrunken down, let's talk about what it would look like here. Just a bit. We will probably see a little bit of this until we settle down, until this entire bear market has settled down. And then we will come to a consolidation period. And again, this is just my opinion, based on the fact that I've never seen it not go this way, but it is still my opinion. Once we come out of that, we should start to see some action with a consolidation, which could eclipse this. The consolidation move might be above the all-time high of the 14,000 before. That's the funny thing about it. Whenever we make the massive move, this previous all-time high is going to be yesterday's news. It'll be nothing at all. And so the consolidation should take us past that previous all-time high. Then we'll see the massive move where we go above the 100,000 level. Check out my last video. I talk more about this. So this is what I believe we need to see happen as far as the market cycles. But again, what do I know? What does anybody know? Because today proved a point that no matter how much we do technical analysis, no matter how much we think we know the fundamentals, nobody could have predicted the coronavirus scare. Nobody could have predicted the stock market to crash the way that it has this year. And nobody could have predicted that the stock market would drag BTC down with it because it was supposed to be a safe haven. So here we had this event happen just in practically a matter of days, in a week. And this was not a part of the charts. It just was not. It wasn't a part of it. I'm not really for sure, but I don't know if we've seen a bigger drop. Maybe since the all-time high. I'd have to do some measurements here, but this has to rank up there as one of the biggest drops. And so size-wise, when we look at from here to here, okay, let's just compare the size of this thing. Let's just say this whole piece from here on down. You know, comparing this to what we saw before, it's getting up there with like that second leg after the capitulation move after the all-time run up right there. But it's bigger than everything after that. It's almost the same size as this 1, 2, third dip here. But this is about the biggest that we've seen for a long time. It definitely dwarfs the big capitulation event that took us down to 3150. And it definitely completely dwarfs anything we've seen in the year 2019 and thus far in 2020. So, you know, that's pretty major. It's pretty major. Very exciting times. But anyway, that's about all I have for tonight. Let's turn the drawing mode off. And I'm glad that you all were here. So tune in next time. We're going to go back and analyze these charts, look at the action again after a few days, and see if we've got a nice rebound move or if we continue to have an excellent buying opportunity. And we'll talk about possibilities for when to enter the market for the long term. That's all I've got tonight. This is Carlton Flowers, the Crypto Pro. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.